What's going on, guys? Welcome back to Leafs Chatter. Today, we're just going to be talking about potential trade targets for the Maple Leafs. Not going to take too much time, just going to go over players that I think the Leafs should target. And, hopefully we make a move soon because we're going to be creeping into the break here for the Olympics. So hopefully we make a move. But yeah, before I get into it, if you like the video, please subscribe, join the squad. Love to have you here. And yeah, like, share, comment. Love to talk Leaf stuff, so drop everything below. Getting into it though, we'll start off with the first name, my boy Luke Schenn. So Luke Schenn, we've had him before. I loved him when he was on the Leafs originally when we first drafted him. And then of course, when we got him back, he was a big part of the reason why we won that playoff round. But he's a big boy, 6'2", 225. These are his stats. Again, everyone should know Schenn. He's not a flashy guy. He's not going to put you up like a shit ton of points. He's strictly a stay-at-home D-man that I think would be perfect. You put him on the bottom pairing. If I could put Riley on the bottom pairing if you really wanted to with Schenner, I think he'd play. I think he'd play fine. But this is more of a depth move to bump out a guy like a Stetcher. I like Stetcher right now, but I'm just saying, like, you could bump out a Stetcher, you could bump out a Benoit, and leave him in there. Like, he's solid. Like, look at these stats. He's not going to put you up a ton of points. Like I said, he's usually in and around like a 10-point guy, 10 to 15 points usually. If he plays a full season, he might be able to hit the 20-point mark. But yeah, he's a big boy. He brings a lot of physicality, a veteran presence. He's gonna get you like almost 300 hits a season. He's insane. He's insane. He finishes his checks. He kind of makes people shy away from going into the corners, which is what you want. That's why he was so good in the playoffs, because players who were going up against Schenn, they knew they were going to get hit. Not a lot of them want to get hit. So they shy away from the corners. They try and like kind of stop back. You keep them to the outside. And that's what Schenn is good at. I think we can really benefit from having a guy like that on the team. I personally think this is the only D move that we should make, but unless something comes up, we can get like a really good player on the back end. But I'd prefer to get him just as a stabilized D, and then going into maybe getting like a forward, maybe potentially. But going into the forwards, I've already spoke about Michael Bunting. I think Michael Bunting and McCarron would be an amazing duo in my opinion to get back if we were to do a trade. And Michael McCarron for the fourth line, make it a little bit more mean, and then you get Bunting on the first line. He plays great with Matthews. I could see him playing amazing. Like having a first line of Matthews, Bunting, Domi, that'd be pretty sick. Basically allows you to bring McMahon down so that you can have a second line of Johnny T, McMahon, and Willie. And then you have your third line, and then you can put on the third line, if Michelli's playing good, you put him on the third line. You do Michelli, Waugh, Dakota Joshua, or Robertson, whatever you want to do there. And if Joshua comes back, you slot him in you could slot him in on the fourth line. Fourth line could be Lawton, Joshua, and Lorentz. So, but if you get McCarron, you could do Joshua, Lawton, and McCarron, which that would be a sick fourth line. But look at Bunting's stats; they're pretty solid. Like he's he had some really good seasons. Like when he was with us, he was getting like 60 points, 49 points. Like he was on two teams technically. Actually, no, he wasn't. But that year he got 49 points in 82 games. Pretty, it was okay. He's gonna get you like 20 goals. He's gonna get like 20 goals. Right now he's got 28 points in 48 games, 12 goals, 16 assists. That's pretty solid in my opinion. I don't know how much he's gonna cost. I mean, if you're just trying to get him, like I can see them maybe wanting like, because like at the end of the day, like it's more of like a cap dump than anything. I could see them maybe taking like a Yarn Croak, or I mean, if they want to pick, maybe you can give them like a third or something, maybe for him. Like I don't know if I'd give a second up for Bunting, but I mean that's probably what you'd have to give up for him if you're trying to get like McCarron too on the side. I could see maybe just like a whatever player and then a low pick. Like you probably give him like somewhat of a roster player, whether that be like a Yarn Croak or potentially a Michelli, and then you give up like a 6th round pick. That's probably all I think you'd need if you're trying to get them both. But Yeah, that's it for him. Going on to another player, I think the Leafs would have interest in. I'm tired of all the Kadri talk. I'd love to have Kadri, but it's probably not going to happen. But potentially, maybe a Blake Coleman would be pretty good. I mean, he could play like second line center or third line center. It doesn't really matter. I think Johnny's kind of slowing down a little bit, in my opinion. So I mean, like I feel like he could be pretty good. He's a physical presence. He's 34, so he's a little, he's an olderish guy. Um, but he was a two-time Stanley Cup champion with Tampa, like it says there. It's just a report. But he's a good forechecker. He plays the game right. Hard nosed guy. That's pretty much what you want on a team, especially a team that's pushing for playoff success. So I think Blake Coleman would be ideally a good player to get. I mean, if you're going to try and do business with Calgary, I'm not saying that they're going to trade him over to us, but I mean, it's possible. You're better off, I think, getting him than Kadri. So I don't know. But like looking at it here, this is what he's got so far. But in 2022 or 2023-24 with Calgary, he got 30 goals, 24 assists. So he got 54 points in 78 games. That's pretty solid. But the Flames suck right now, so like he's struggling too, as well as the whole team. So right now he has 13 goals, 8 assists. He's got 21 points in 44 games. So it's not great. It's not great by any means, but I mean, if he's willing to come to the boys, be kind of like in my opinion, he'd be like a better, like a way better Dakota Joshua in terms of he could play center. He's a second line guy. I mean, if you have to drop him down to the third line, you technically can, but I don't feel like you need to. Um, you could have Blake Coleman on the second line with Johnny and Willie, which would be a solid second line in my opinion. Um, but yeah, that's just again another player that's possible that we can go for. And like I said, he's a gritty guy. He plays the game the right way. He wouldn't make the playoffs worse for us. Let's just say that he would help out a lot. So that's a player I think we should look into. Another one is Evander Kane. I know not a lot of people like Evander Kane, but he's a pretty big boy. He's 6'2", almost 220. He's older now, but like at the end of the day, this guy, if he's on the right team, you have him on a decent line that can kind of produce. He'll get you some goals. Like I can see him on a third line role, being somewhat of like to kind of sub in for Dakota Joshua. He's out right now, and then frig if Dakota Joshua comes back, then you can throw Dakota Joshua on the fourth line. Like he's more offensive than Joshua. He just has like that physical element, and I think he can kind of play up and down the lineup. You could put him on your second line if you wanted to, but I think I'd probably keep him on the third line. I think if we were to get him, but you know, like he's pretty solid. Like he gets a lot of PEMs, but that's just more. Yeah, he makes stupid decisions sometimes. That's the kind of but that's the deal with getting some of these players. Like Domi does the same thing. Sometimes Domi's he makes bonehead plays. It's just the way it is. But he's gonna get you like around 20. So like he'll get you anywhere from 20 to 25 goals usually a season, probably and then put up like anywhere from 40 to 50 points. So I mean, I know right now it's not looking that good in Vancouver. He's only got 21 points in 47 games, and only 7 of those being goals. But I think if he were to come to the Leafs, I can see him having a way better time playing with the Leafs than Vancouver. Vancouver's kind of just, I don't know, they're in the mud right now, and I think him coming to the Leafs would be a good move, and we would love him here. He's, like I said, a hard nosed player. He plays the game well, and he's a playoff performer. Like look at some of his stats, like recentish stats. Like he wasn't playing top line minutes with Edmonton, but he was putting up 12. He got 12 points in 21 games. It's pretty good. And he had 44 penalty minutes. Like most of those are probably roughing calls, if I'm being honest. But like at the end of the day, if he can put a couple, get some like depth scoring. Like we had our third line, no one. I don't think anyone had 12, even close to 12 points. I mean, not they did play 21 games, but I think we did. We played like we played around like 12ish games, I think. About like 12, 13 games last year. So I mean, even if you were to even put up just like 8 points, like that'd be solid. 8 points, 4 of them being goals. That's like more depth than we had before. So I don't know what it would cost to get him. I don't think it would be that much, in my opinion, just because it seems like they're trying to get rid of him or trying to get off of some of their guys. So I can't see him costing more than like, I wouldn't say a very low pick, but maybe like a fourth, maybe a third. I don't know. I'm not too sure, but that's pretty much what I see. Like he's an okay player, and then going into someone who I personally really like, I love Vincent Trocek. He's a center. He's a hard nosed player. He plays the game right. Right now, he's got 29 points in 35 games, 11 goals, 18 assists on the shitty New York Rangers. So, I mean, I think this would be a good ad. I don't know how much he would cost. He would cost definitely a lot more than any of the players I mentioned before. But I mean, look at his stats. Like his stats speak for himself. In 2023, he had 77 points, 25 goals, 52 assists. That's solid, and he's physical. Like I didn't put the hits in here, but he averages anywhere from like 150 to 200 hits a season. He lays the body. He's a hard nosed player. I think he'd be great for the Leafs, and he'd be great for the playoffs. That's for sure. So I definitely love him. He'd be sick. A great player to have on the team, in my opinion. But again, I don't know what you'd have to give up for him. I like, to be honest, I don't even know what he would be worth. So I can't even give you a comparison. But in since New York's trying to build the team differently, I could see them maybe wanting like a guy like Robertson in return for him. A guy like Robertson, Bobby McMahon, like you know what I mean, like those types of players, guys that can pot in like 20 goals and that are relatively young. Robertson would most likely be who they would, I think, be eyeing just because he's a lot younger than Bobby. But I mean, like that's what I think. It would have to start with that for sure. Like a player of that caliber. But yeah, those are all the ones that I have right now. I might make another video with other potential ones, maybe a little bit more of the D. I only put Schenner in there because that's personally all I think we're gonna get. Because now that Anderson's gone, I hope to God we don't try and go for like Falk or anything like that. I don't want them to make any stupid choices. I just want them to get playoff caliber players and just like I said, Schenner's a good potential fit here, and he's not going to cost you that much. He'll cost you a low round pick. They're saying that you can get Shen for like a sixth round pick. So if that's the case, that's pretty damn solid, and I would take that in a heartbeat. But anyways, though, that's it. I think for this one, I don't really have anything else to really bring up in terms of trade. If anything else comes to mind, I'll for sure make a video on it. But to talk about I will, I guess, talk quickly about the Rasmus Anderson trade. I thought it was a good trade in my opinion for Vegas to get more help on the blue line. I mean, now that Petrangelo's not there, I mean Rasmus does definitely help. I'm not saying that they needed to fill that, but I mean if they did want to choose a place to fill, they why not fill the blue line? Like Anderson's a good like 3-4 guy, and their D looks really good now. So yeah, they had to give up White Cloud, but to be honest, I don't really think much of them. I think they did pretty good on that trade. It sounded like Boston was offering more, but they they wanted a guaranteed extension, and apparently they didn't end up getting anywhere with him in terms of an extension, so they didn't obviously make the trade. Vegas wanted to take that gamble, and we'll see if they end up winning it. So overall, I think it was a good trade for Vegas. Calgary got honestly a good amount for him. Two potential first round picks, even though the conditional one, yeah, might be it depends. Like if they win the cup, that turns into a first. But like at the end of the day, if they're gonna do good, if they're gonna win the cup, like the first round pick this year is gonna be 32nd, so it's basically a second round pick. So, I mean, I think they did all right, but I personally think they were probably hoping that Boston trade was going to go through because they were probably hoping for that extension. Because if it's true that Boston was going to give up those players, Lorai, a first round pick, Protois or Protus or whatever his name is, that would be a lot to give up. But they were probably hoping for that one, and they had to settle for what Vegas was offering. So Yeah, overall though, okay. I think it was an okay trade for Vegas. They're stacked, so they got to compete with, with Dallas and Colorado. Like those are the teams that they can end up going up against, right? So, and even the Oilers, depending on how far they make it. So I think it's something that they needed. The best offense comes first with good defense. So that's what they ended up doing there, and I think he'll do pretty good. I think his points are going to drop off a little bit, but it doesn't matter. He's pretty solid defensively. Like he's a plus. I think he's like a +3 or +4 with Calgary, and Calgary's shit. So he's doing okay this year. Pretty solid. Of course, the contract year, and I don't know what contract extension he'll be looking for. I'm assuming uh like he is older, but I can see him maybe trying to. He'll probably end up signing there for like maybe 6 million, something like that. He'll probably give him like a friendly deal if they give him term. But I think realistically on the open market, he could probably get like 7 to 8. Like I'm sure a team would give that to him in a heartbeat. So we'll see what happens though with that. But Leafs play tonight against Minnesota. Don't forget it's on Prime tonight. So hopefully that's a good game. That's a big game for us. So if we can get that dub, that'll be huge. Um, but yeah, that's it for this one though, guys. I'll see you guys tonight. I'll make a video and I'll talk to you later. Peace.